Starting a quick recording on this one. Here's the conversation that was basically had earlier today, and the conversation was around. This gets into boring stuff. You guys are gonna hate this, but it's the U.S. code. It's Title 26, which is the Internal Revenue Code or the IRS code. Subtitle F, Procedure and Administration, Chapter 79, Definitions, Section 7701, Definitions. And so this is a fascinating little trip to walk down and try to figure this shit out. But here it says, when used in this title, where not otherwise distinctly expressed or manifestly incompatible with the intent thereof. So, first off, the word person. The term person shall be construed to mean and include an individual, a trust, a state, partnership, association, company, or corporation. So when they say corporations are, they're going to say a corporation is a person. By their legal definition, that's correct. The term corporation includes association, joint stock companies, and insurance companies. The term domestic, when applied to a corporation or partnership, means created or organized in the United States. Let's go look at the definition of the United States. For the purpose of this subsection and subsection I, the term United States includes the possessions of the United States. So they're using this term, the United States, a little bit awkwardly. So this is the big one, and this is honestly the thrust of what this dude is saying. When you look at the U.S. code, and this is the code that governs how the United States operates and governs itself. The United States, the term United States, when used in a geographical sense, includes only the states and the District of Columbia. And in this case, it says the term state shall be construed to include the District of Columbia where such construction is necessary to carry out provisions of this title. So what they're not actually talking about, or at least this is the argument, they are not talking about all 50 states of the United States of America, or these United States, united with a small capital, because it's united, that's a capitalized states, meaning like they're actually independent countries. The United States is way more like the European Union than people might want to admit, that we have 50 different countries that are part of the United States Union. And each one of these states is its own independent country. We have agreed that to have common borders, common defense, common whatever. And I think that was all basically created in the Articles of Confederation. And then they wanted an additional sort of centralized power, which came out of the Constitution and the formation of that. And then it really got dirty when they created the District of Columbia. I think that was in the Act of 1871, where they create a 10-mile square plot, which is basically its own independent thing. But all of that is to say, when the IRS code is talking about, a person has to do this, the person is being referenced to, and they use the word individual somewhere else, but it keeps referencing back to United States. And in their definition, the United States is used in a geographical sense, includes only the states and the District of Columbia, and the use of the word state shall be construed to include the District of Columbia. And when you say the word include in a legal document, it basically means include only. It doesn't mean, when you include something, you are automatically excluding it. And so here, at least all of this is the argument. Basically, they're saying everything that we think of are you a United States citizen? It's kind of a convoluted answer. The first answer is yes, because all of the state citizens are United States citizens, but it's also confusing because the Supreme Court ruled like 150 years ago that there's more than one definition of United States. One of them is just geographical thing, and the other is this 10-mile square radius thing. So it's sort of like, are you a U.S. citizen? The answer is yes and no. If you mean, am I a 14th Amendment United States citizen? The answer is no. If you mean, was I born and do I reside in the United States of America? Then the answer is yes. So you kind of have to, they purposely mislead you, and you have to go sort of declare who you are and what that is. So, it was a fascinating conversation today. Normally when people do go down this road, the effects of it are more or less disastrous. People go to jail, they go to prison, they go down this sovereign citizen route, they do all this stuff, and none of it works, and you get your ass handed to you. And one of the things that I think is quite powerful about what I'm hearing today was that this guy uses this information, goes to the State Department and says, hey, you seem to have misclassified me as a 14th Amendment citizen, and in fact, I kind of did that myself. I might have misled you, so I'm sorry that I did that. Let me correct it. I'm actually a state citizen, and by the way, I'd like a passport. And then the State Department gave him a passport where it's basically declaring he is a United States citizen. And then I haven't seen the document of what this looks like, but if you submit a FOIA request, it also like explicitly states you are a state citizen. And the fascinating part of all this, or like one of the main reasons to go do this, is income tax is for United States citizens. So if you are a citizen of the District of Columbia, you owe federal income tax. And if you are a resident of the District of Columbia, you owe federal income tax. If you are not one of those things, which is like 99.99% of the world, you don't owe income tax to them. Sort of like if you don't live in Germany, you don't owe German income tax. Here, if you don't live in the United States, you don't own income tax, and by their own definition, it includes only the states and the District of Columbia. And the word states just includes the District of Columbia, and it usually means what are these called? Like the Samoa, like Guam, Puerto Rico, those different places as well. So that's kind of my weird trip down legalese lane of, I really like the Mark Twain quote of, "It is easier to fool a man than to convince them they've been fooled." And so I think I've been fooled into believing that I'm a United States citizen. I am, in one sense, a United States citizen because I am currently a citizen of Pennsylvania. I reside in Pennsylvania. I was born in Massachusetts. So I am a state citizen, which automatically gives me the rights of citizens that are born in the United States of America. I am a U.S. citizen by that definition. But I am not a citizen of Washington, D.C. I am not a federal citizen, and I don't owe them the income tax. And so this guy that I was paying attention to, which was Destination Freedom, who I heard about through a YouTube channel called Crow777, gave a full day-long presentation about this. There's a workshop that happens on Tuesday where I'm going to go fill out my paperwork to become a state citizen. Actually, I've always been a state citizen, but now I'm going to clarify to the feds that I am a state citizen, and then I'll take it from there. There's all kinds of fascinating things that start happening once you realize who they're talking to. Because like a lot of the other rules and regulations, like maybe the SEC, FINRA, FinCEN, like what about the NSA? There's all these different government organizations. And while I'm not positive, I'm pretty certain that most, if not all of them, when they talk about, the powers that they have those powers over, and it's constitutional. They constitutionally can do that to the DC residents and the DC citizens, but they can't do it to other people. except that your whole life, when you've been signing up for your driver's license and signing up for your passport, and you know, when you fill out a 1040 where you're like, yes, I'm employed, like all these things, you keep admitting to them that you are a United States citizen without clarifying the fact that, hey, I'm actually a state citizen, which gives me the rights of a U.S. citizen, but for the purposes of the IRS, I am not a D.C. citizen. All of which is fascinating. So this is a road that I'm going to go down. I've done some of like the sovereign and truther kind of things, and I've had some success. I've told 2 judges now that they are tyrants, that they are committing crimes against humanity by furthering sort of a giant fraud across American people. And I've had both of the cases immediately dismissed where they didn't even let me speak in court. So I've had mild success. And so now this is something that I'm willing to go escalate to. So we're going to follow up. I'll have some more information after Tuesday after I go submit for my my passport there. But I thought that this crowd might be interested in that, and I'm looking forward to renegotiating, or I guess correcting, the misconceptions I have previously given the federal folks about what my citizenship status is and what rights I'm about to start exerting.